Welcome back, coin enthusiasts and treasure hunters. If you love uncovering hidden gems in the world of numismatics, then you're in for a treat today. We're diving deep into a small yet fascinating coin, the 1971 United States 1-cent coin. You might think a penny is just worth 1 cent, but some of these coins have sold for an unbelievable amount. Could you be holding one of these rare treasures without even knowing it? Stick around as we reveal its secrets, unique features, and just how much this little coin could be worth today. The 1971 US 1-cent coin is a piece of history that many people overlook. While millions were minted and circulated across the country, only a select few hold significant value today. The reason? Certain rare errors, condition factors, and collector demand have skyrocketed the worth of some of these pennies to jaw-dropping amounts. So, what makes this coin so special? Let's find out. First, let's talk about its design. The obverse of the 1971 penny features the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, a design that has remained a staple on U.S. pennies since 1909. Above Lincoln's head, you'll see the words, "In God We Trust," while the year, 1971, is boldly stamped beneath his profile. To the left, the word "Liberty" stands out, a powerful reminder of the values that shaped America. The reverse side showcases the majestic Lincoln Memorial, an image that symbolizes the nation's strength and democracy. The words, "United States of America" arch across the top, with "E pluribus unum," meaning "out of many, one," etched just below. At the bottom, the denomination, 1 cent, is displayed prominently. While this design is common for pennies of that era, certain variations and errors have made some of these coins incredibly rare and valuable. So, what should you be looking for? The real key to unlocking the true value of a 1971 penny lies in its condition and any potential errors it may have. A regular 1971 penny in circulated condition is just worth face value, but coins that have been preserved in near-perfect, uncirculated condition can fetch a premium among collectors. However, the real treasures are those that contain minting errors. One of the most famous errors found in the 1971 1-cent coin is the double die obverse variety. This occurs when the coin is struck twice by the die, causing the lettering and numbers on the front to appear slightly doubled. If you take a close look at the words "Liberty," "In God We Trust," or the date, 1971, and notice a doubling effect, you might have an extremely valuable coin in your possession. This error makes the coin highly desirable, and collectors are willing to pay top dollar for it. Another rare variation includes off-center strikes, where the design is misaligned due to an error in the minting process. Additionally, coins struck on the wrong metal planchet, such as one intended for a different denomination, can be worth a fortune. These unique minting mistakes make each of these pennies one of a kind, increasing their demand in the collector's market. Now, you might be wondering, where can you find one of these rare pennies? Well, the good news is that they could be hiding in plain sight. Many of these coins are still out there, buried in old piggy banks, coin jars, and even passed down through generations without anyone realizing their true worth. If you come across a 1971 penny, examine it carefully under good lighting, or even use a magnifying glass to check for doubling or other errors. A small detail could mean the difference between an ordinary penny and a life-changing discovery. Collectors and numismatists are always on the lookout for these rare pennies, and auction houses have seen some of them sell for jaw-dropping amounts. The value of a rare 1971 penny depends on factors such as condition, rarity, and collector demand. And now, the moment you've been waiting for: how much could one of these rare pennies actually be worth? If you're lucky enough to find a 1971 1-cent coin with the right error in excellent condition, it could be worth $55,000. That's right, $55,000 for a single penny. Imagine turning a simple 1-cent coin into a fortune. This is why checking your change and keeping an eye out for rare coins is always worth it. Who knows? You might just be holding a hidden treasure in the palm of your hand. We are diving deep into a small yet fascinating coin that could be hiding in your collection, the 1976 United States 1-cent coin. Most people overlook pennies, tossing them into jars or spending them without a second thought. But did you know that some rare versions of the 1976 penny have sold for an incredible amount? You might be holding on to a tiny fortune without even realizing it. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll discover just how much one of these special coins could be worth today. Before we get into the value of this coin, let's take a step back and look at the history behind it. The year 1976 was a special time in American history. It was the nation's bicentennial, celebrating 200 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Patriotism was at an all-time high, and commemorative coins were being minted to mark the occasion. Although the penny itself didn't get a special bicentennial design like the quarter, half dollar, or dollar, the 1976 penny is still a significant piece of numismatic history, and some rare versions of it have become extremely valuable. Now, let's talk about the design of the 1976 US 1-cent coin. This penny follows the traditional Lincoln cent design, which has remained mostly unchanged since its introduction in 1909. The obverse, or front side, of the coin features the iconic profile of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Above Lincoln's head, the words, "In God We Trust," are prominently displayed. To the left, you'll see the word "Liberty," symbolizing the nation's commitment to freedom. Below Lincoln's bust, you'll find the date, 1976, which is the key identifier for this particular penny. Flipping the coin over to the reverse side, you'll see the majestic Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to replace the original wheat stalks. If you look closely at the center of the memorial, you can actually see a tiny engraving of Lincoln's statue sitting inside, an incredible detail that many people never notice. At the top of the coin, the words, "United States of America," are curved above the memorial, while "E pluribus unum," meaning "out of many, one," is inscribed just below. Finally, the denomination, 1 cent, is clearly marked at the bottom. This design remained in use until 2008, making the 1976 penny part of a long and beloved tradition. So, what makes the 1976 penny worth more than just 1 cent? The answer lies in a combination of rarity, condition, and minting errors. While billions of these pennies were produced, only a few have special characteristics that make them highly valuable to collectors. Let's take a closer look at what you should be searching for. One of the most important factors in determining a coin's value is its condition. A standard 1976 penny that has been in circulation for decades is typically worth only its face value. However, if you find one that has been carefully preserved in mint condition, meaning it has no scratches, discoloration, or signs of wear, it could already be worth significantly more. Coins in uncirculated condition or graded by professional grading services as MS, mint state, can fetch premium prices from collectors, but the real hidden treasures are the 1976 pennies with rare minting errors. These mistakes, made during the coin production process, make certain pennies incredibly valuable. One of the most famous and sought-after errors is the double die variety. This occurs when the coin's design is struck twice slightly off from the first strike, creating a doubled effect on the lettering and numbers. If you carefully examine the words "Liberty," "In God We Trust," or the date, 1976, and notice any doubling, you could be holding a rare and valuable coin. Another highly valuable error is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin blank isn't properly aligned with the dies, resulting in an image that is shifted to one side. The more dramatic the misalignment, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes, especially if the date is still visible. One of the most exciting errors that can dramatically increase a penny's value is when it's struck on the wrong metal planchet. Occasionally, a penny is mistakenly minted on a dime planchet, which makes it appear smaller and lighter than usual. These error coins are extremely rare and highly sought after by collectors. If you ever find a 1976 penny that looks unusual in color, weight, or size, it's definitely worth getting checked out. So, where can you find one of these rare and valuable 1976 pennies? The good news is that they could still be out there. Start by checking your spare change, old piggy banks, and inherited coin collections. Many valuable coins have been found in everyday places, simply because people didn't realize their worth. If you think you found a 1976 penny with an error or in exceptional condition, it's a great idea to have it evaluated by a professional coin grading service. These experts can determine its authenticity and provide an official grade, which can significantly increase its market value. Collectors and coin enthusiasts are constantly on the lookout for these rare pennies, and some have sold for shocking amounts at auctions. The final value of a rare 1976 penny depends on factors like its rarity, condition, and demand in the numismatic community. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for: how much could one of these special pennies be worth? If you're lucky enough to find a 1976 1-cent coin with a rare error in top condition, it could be worth $45,000. That's right, $45,000 for a single penny. Imagine finding one of these in your coin jar and turning it into a life-changing payday. This is exactly why checking your coins carefully and learning about rare varieties is so important. Who knows? You might just have a hidden treasure sitting right under your nose. We're diving into one of the most fascinating pennies ever minted, the 1987 United States 1-cent coin. This little copper-colored coin may look ordinary, but some rare versions of it have shocked collectors by selling for unbelievable amounts. What makes them so special? Why are some of these pennies worth a fortune while others are just 1 cent? Stick around until the end because you won't believe how much one of these rare pennies could be worth today. Before we dive into the exciting details about the value of this coin, let's take a quick look at the time period in which it was minted. The year 1987 was an interesting one for the United States. The economy was booming, technology was advancing, and pop culture was thriving. It was also a significant year for the U.S. Mint, as they continued producing billions of coins for circulation. While most of these pennies were used in everyday transactions and forgotten, a select few became extremely valuable due to rare minting errors and unique characteristics that make them highly sought after today. Now, let's talk about the design of the 1987 U.S. 1-cent coin. This penny follows the classic Lincoln cent design, which has been in use since 1909. On the obverse, or front side, you'll see the famous profile of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Above Lincoln's head, the words, "In God We Trust," are proudly displayed. To the left, the word "liberty" serves as a reminder of the nation's core values. Beneath Lincoln's portrait, you'll find the date, 1987, which is crucial in identifying valuable versions of this coin. Now, flipping over to the reverse side, you'll find the striking image of the Lincoln Memorial, which has been featured on pennies since 1959. If you look closely, you can even see a tiny statue of Lincoln sitting inside the memorial, a remarkable detail that many people overlook. The words, "United States of America," curve along the top, while "E pluribus unum," meaning "out of many, one," is inscribed just below. And, of course, at the bottom, the denomination, 1 cent, is clearly marked. While this design may seem standard, certain 1987 pennies have errors that make them incredibly rare and valuable. So, what exactly makes some of these pennies worth a fortune? The answer lies in two key factors: condition and minting errors. A standard 1987 penny in circulated condition is just worth 1 cent. However, if you find one that has never been used, with a flawless surface and no signs of wear, it could already be worth much more than face value. But the real treasures are the pennies with rare minting errors that make them unique in the eyes of collectors. One of the most famous errors in the 1987 penny is the double die error. This occurs when the coin's design is struck twice slightly off from the first strike, causing a doubling effect. If you carefully examine the words "Liberty," "In God We Trust," or the date, 1987, and notice a shadow-like doubling, you may have an extremely valuable coin in your hands. These errors are rare but highly sought after by collectors. Another rare error involves off-center strikes. In some cases, the coin was not perfectly aligned during the minting process, causing part of the design to be missing. The more off-center the strike, the more valuable the coin becomes, especially if the date is still visible. Other errors include clipped planchets, where a portion of the coin's edge is missing due to an error in the cutting process, and wrong metal strikes, where a penny was accidentally struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination, such as a dime. These types of errors make a coin one of a kind, and collectors are always willing to pay a premium for them. Now, you might be wondering, where can you find one of these valuable 1987 pennies? The good news is that they could be hiding in plain sight. Check your old coin collections, search through coin rolls from banks, or even dig through jars of spare change. You never know when you might come across a rare gem. If you do find a 1987 penny that looks different from the rest, consider getting it examined by a professional coin grading service to determine its authenticity and value. Collectors and coin experts are constantly searching for these rare pennies, and some have sold for astonishing amounts at auctions. The final value of a rare 1987 penny depends on its rarity, condition, and demand among collectors. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for: how much could one of these rare pennies actually be worth? If you're lucky enough to find a 1987 1-cent coin with a rare error in top condition, it could be worth $45,000. That's right, $45,000 for a single penny. Just imagine, you could be carrying a small fortune in your pocket without even realizing it. This is why checking your change and examining old coins is always a great idea. Who knows? You might just discover a hidden treasure that could change your life. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an exciting discovery. Also, let us know in the comments if you've ever come across a rare or unusual coin. We'd love to hear your stories. Thanks for watching, and happy coin hunting.